Question time!
Hey guys, this is Rikard here. Long time no see, less hair on top and more down here, but otherwise it's same old guy as usual. I got a bunch of questions here from Mats, who wanted me to do a Q&A regarding the recording of Sojourn. So let's get right to it here. The first question was, as the most recent member in the band at the time, and with no relation to the older songs prior to the recording, how did it feel to record this album? Well, I must say that it felt quite natural for me, because at this time when these songs were written, I was really into the melodeath thing. I was playing like In Flames and Dark Tranquility and Soilwork, but especially Embrace was one of my biggest bands back at the time. So it felt very natural. It was great fun. This was like a trip down memory lane, so I really enjoyed it. So, and question number 2. How did you go about writing the solos on Sojourn? With old songs that didn't have solos before, how did you approach that? Well, first and foremost, I think I have this opinion that if a song has a solo, I would like to try and replicate it as truthfully as to the original as possible. For instance, like on the Suffer Well, Stefan had a whole bunch of really cool solos, and since I also been like a studio technician and working with this band like for a couple of years before, I knew all these songs and it would have felt really wrong for me to change them. So Stefan and I had really different playing styles, so I just had to practice very hard to get up to speed with his insane shredding technique, but it was a lot of fun, and I got many new tools which I have used ever since. Now, this is like a form of respect, one lead guitarist to another, so I think it's a nice gesture to try and replicate the solos. Anyway, I don't nail them like 100%, but maybe 90, 95. There should be also a little room for personal interpretation. And with Sojourn, all the solos that I made on this record, on the other hand, I did them from scratch because I didn't have any relation to the old solos, and also we changed some things in the songs, so I felt we needed to do a whole new take on this one. So the only one that's basically the same as before was Heathen's Embrace with a violin solo. And I really like to try new stuff and new things and new techniques when I play. I don't have the patience to just do the same thing over and over again, so for instance, like Heathen's Embrace, I brought the violin in and tried to do the solo on the violin. And Clench the Feet of Fools, I played the solo on the analog synthesizer first, but the guys didn't like it, they wanted to put it on an electric guitar, so, well, I played it on the electric guitar, but it was written on the synthesizer, and it's the exact same solo. And let's see, what else we got? We have Forever Haven. I tried to do some of the, hillbilly redneck chicken picking style in some of the licks, so I really like to try new stuff. That's fun. Another solo that I'm really satisfied with is on Everlasting. In the end, there are like 2 arpeggios, and then the heavy part comes in. So what I did there is I tried to create a melody that picks up on this heavy riff that comes afterwards. So you get so the solo bridges into the next part of the song, and this is like a good way of writing for me. I try to connect all the different parts with each other. Question number 3. What's your favorite song on the album and why? My favorite song on Sojourn definitely would be Clench the Feet of Fools. And the reason is that on this song I did the orchestral arrangement, which was very fun to relieve Robin, and I could do this work instead because I really enjoy playing synthesizers, keyboards, and also violins and strings and choirs and orchestra percussion, and it's just that I got to do a big influence on the final product and the musical interpretation of the song, which was really important for me, because otherwise it's mostly just play a solo here and there, and it's important to do that as well, of course, but on this one, like the whole product is more or less in my hands, because in Meadows' sound, the orchestras is such a big deal with the musical interpretation. So I really enjoyed that part. Question number 4. How did you feel about the whole thing of releasing a new song every month? That is a good concept. It's a tough one, but it is also a necessary one, because if you want things to happen in your life, you need a vision. The vision was to re-record SOJOUYAN within 1 year, and you need to break that vision down into measurable goals that are quantifiable. 1 song every month. That is a good specific goal which you can attain if you put hard work into it. Another very important thing is, if you want to do a thing like this, you have to tell it to the world. You have to tell all your friends and everyone, we're gonna record 1 song every month and we're gonna release it. You cannot back down if you do this. This is the way I treat my New Year's resolutions every year. I love those things. I decide something and then I tell everyone about it in public and in the coffee room at work, and every chance I get, I tell everyone. This is for instance, this year I'm gonna learn how to sing opera. That's my New Year's resolution. And it's much harder to back down from something if you told everyone about it, because then you will look like a fool. So, 1 song every month, a tough goal, but man, does it get things rolling. It's a really good one. Another thing that I need to point out with this concept of releasing 1 song every month is that when you have a specific deadline, you have to be finished in this deadline. And this means you cannot overwork the production. You need to finish on time and deliver. And that's it. Otherwise, especially a guy like me, it's a bit too careful and pedant with my work. I'm never satisfied and just work and work and work until it's perfect. But you can't do this if you have to release 1 song every month. Question number 5. Which is your favorite part, riff or solo in any song, and why? This one's a no-brainer for me. If you listen to Nightmare's riff solo and the very end, the very final bend of the solo, like a long one, like it goes down and fades out into eternity like that. When I recorded this, and this is the very take that ended up on the album, it's like a really tough bend. I think it's like 3 semitones or something like that. I had to push everything I got and keep it for a long time and then let it go and release back. And what happens is the fingernail, got loose from my finger. Blood starts flowing down and it hurts like crap. But it sounds so good at the same time, so I just kept going like this. And then stop, record the solo, I nailed it. And I couldn't play guitar for like a week after that because the finger was broken. But damn, it was a good tone. I really satisfied with that one. Question number 6. Which song was the greatest challenge? This one's easy to answer as well. The biggest challenge was Heathen's Embrace, because on this song I play the violin solo. And the solo on this song is basically is based on the previous old one. But that one was like an arpeggio that repeats over and over. So I tried to do it a bit more interesting. So it begins with a melody, and then the main arpeggio is still there, but it moves and it goes up in the register, and there goes some harmonies goes on and stuff like that also. So it's quite an advanced arrangement. But the big challenge was that I couldn't play the violin before I started. So I had been playing for I think 8 months when this was recorded. So that was really tough. I had to practice 7 days a week for 8 months to do this part. But that is also a good motivation, because I've always wanted to play violin on a metal album sometime. So this was my chance. Of course I want to take it. So, and then I have a very specific goal to attain, and you just keep practicing. You better do it, because you have promised to deliver. Then you deliver. Question number 7. How did you feel about recording everything at home and not in a studio with the whole band? I must say I'm quite fine with that way of working, because I have my studio back home, so I could just sit here and do all the solos in peace and quiet. And also it was a bit more difficult for me because I was living in Umeå, and the band is in Örnsköldsvik, and it's quite a long way. It's like 120 kilometers, so it was hard for me to rehearse with them and move at the same pace because there was so much travel time. But this way I could put in the same amount of hours as everyone else and still move forward. And with this ambitious goal of one song every month for a whole year, I can't see how it would have been possible to do it any other way. Not for me, at least. But I can totally relate to, I would like to go the old-fashioned way, that we go with a band and you join up in a studio and have some fun and have some beers when you're done, of course, not while recording. Question number 8. Any last thoughts or words you want to give your Meadows End fans? Well, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. This was great fun. This journey has really helped me evolve as a person. To work with these amazing guys in this band has been a privilege, and I'm really proud of what we achieved together. It was really sad for me when I had to leave, because that's one of the absolute worst decisions in my life. I was like thinking about it for 6 months, trying to piece everything together. How can I make this work? Because I dreamt of playing in a band like this for my whole life. And things start to move on, we're going up. And then I just do the math. I have my relationship, I have my work, and I have my hobby, the band. One of them have to go, because there's only 24 hours in one day and I require like 30 or 36. So I chose my work and my family, because I think most of you guys would have done the same. But I'm really, really glad for what we achieved together during this time, and I learned so much good stuff, which has helped me to move on with my life, because like 1 year ago I was a complete mess. I've been working with and finalizing my PhD thesis, and there was some really bad things going on in my life, so the head, the body just shut down. Nothing worked, couldn't sleep at night or anything, so I got like 6 months sick leave from work. But now I'm back on my feet and I'm better than ever before. I have my wife, I have 2 wonderful dogs here also. They're called Gibson and Jussi Björling, the famous opera singer, and Gibson from the guitars. So there's a music theme on the dogs. So if you hear something that's some sounds during this interview, it's a little puppy that's running around and driving us crazy. But now he's crashed and he's asleep, so. And also the puppy has been a great start, so I can hopefully move on and get some kids and a real family sometime in the future. That's my dream. And the things I learned with the band will help me achieve this dream. And thank you for helping me achieve this dream.